Welcome back to the coverage of European's premier event of the year, so to speak, the
Yep.
European Championship 2016.
Yeah.
You might be wondering, why did you guys switch seats? Because that only really happens after match has concluded, and well, that is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
We did have an investigation last round. I'm pretty certain that at least half of you were guessing that. And the judges then looked into the case and assigned a penalty at disqualification. So we had our match result, and that is why the top 64 are over, and we're now in the top 32.
Yep.
And it couldn't get any more exciting. We got two of the most famous players in the world, two of the best players in the world. Daniele, Stella, former YCS champion, going up against Joshua Schmidt, who's won a couple of things and also was a world championship competitor before.
Big names. Big names.
Very big names, yes. And it's not just a classic in that regard. We got two named players. We also got Germany versus Italy, which is also interesting. And of course, we got Phantom Knights, Burning Abyss versus Pendulum, which is going to be the main story of the weekend.
Yep. There's been a massive amount of this deck here.
Yeah.
And I think it's been kind of slowly but surely going down in our numbers. So the conversion rates we were talking about,
Yep.
not as big for the Phantom Knight deck. I think last round in the top 64 that Cosmo was the biggest deck.
Right.
It was something like 31.
Maybe we can take a look. I don't know.
No, we can.
That is, if you can bring that up quickly, guys. That would be our deck breakdown. Here you go. For the top 64, and very soon we should have updated numbers for the top 32. But yes, until then, oh, wait a second, that's round one. That was my mistake. There we go. Relatively speaking, not much change from the initial. Oh, you said Fire King Cosmo going up?
Just all of the Cosmos. If you look
yes.
at the cores of the engines, you can see that Cosmo added up is much higher than the two Burning Abyss added up together.
So actually, at this point in time, it finally makes sense to have so many different categories in our metagame breakdown.
Well, this is what I was saying. I knew that eventually when we got here, it would make sense.
Okay, well, I'll let you off then. Right.
Players, the players watching now know exactly which decks we have here.
That's true.
Remaining.
Did you guys also take a look at the country breakdown?
We did, yeah. We were looking through. Obviously, Germany was the.
But Italy, I gotta say, is the winner in this one, because they started out in a second place with, well, many players behind Germany. We can just quickly take a look at the initial country breakdown. There you go, guys. Yeah. Italy number 2.
Less than half.
Less than half, yeah. And they still managed to put as many players, almost as many players in the top 64 as Germany. Well done, Italy, once again.
Yeah.
And I think it's the most competitive nation, to be honest.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That is pretty much the tale of the tape.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? I mean, Joshua Schmidt needs no introduction.
No.
Daniele Stella, former YCS champion. That was, I think that was the YCS when all the Italians ended up in the top 8. I think that was YCS Rimini last year.
Yeah.
We can, of course, double check that for you guys. But some of you will have fond memories of the tournament, YCS flip-flops, as some like to call it. And yeah, let's take you to the table. Is there anything else we have to talk about?
Okay. I thought we were going to have a short break in between, but that's fine.
I think these guys are ready to go. I'm ready to go. You ready to go?
I'm ready.
You ready? Okay, guys. Then let's not keep you not keep you waiting for any longer. We are in fact missing out the deck lists, but expectation says that Joshua on the right is playing a very similar build to one of his good friends that we had earlier, I think yesterday morning. All right, and these two are now getting their signal, and now we're gonna get started.
So, do we have the deck lists over there, Ollie?
I don't think so. Still have last round's deck lists, but yeah, we're gonna have the decks. We're gonna have the contents of the guys' hands and everything. So for the most part, we should be fine. Oh. Right. And what do you make of this opening of Joshua Schmidt? Kieran is a good card, I heard.
Kieran is a very good card. Multiple magical abductors and a dragon pit magician. So Joshua's playing the magician version of the Pendulum deck.
And on the other hand, let's take a look at Daniele's opening 5. Scarm, Farfa, Barbar, Phantom Knights, Fogblade. So, in case you didn't know what he was playing, if it weren't below the name, this is how to make the most of it. How to get an immediate understanding of what he got.
So we see straight away he's been able to put the double magical abductor onto the field.
Again, my favorite question. Wow. On a scale from 1 to 10, how good is his opening?
2.
Just a 2?
Yeah.
2 sounds terribly bad.
It's pretty poor.
So basically he lost the game.
Didn't really do much. I'm not saying he's lost, but didn't really do much. I mean, he's got a single Kirin.
I think we have to establish our rating system a little bit.
Yeah.
So what means you have lost immediately? That's a 0?
That's a 1.
That's a 1.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's just barely managed to stay in the game.
Yeah.
With that opening.
Yeah.
All right, guys. There you heard it. I got Baba.
Okay, probably more like a 4.
Oh! How did that happen?
I guess Kirin's pretty good. I mean, it's a unicorn after all. Okay, so he immediately decides magical abductor needs to come back to my hand.
Right, and there's Dante, of course.
Yeah.
The
he's the boy.
The big bad wolf.
Yep. Fafa, Boots, and Fafa. He's playing all of the premium gold versions, or it seems to be.
Yeah. If ever there's going to be such a thing as a rarity spotter, that's going to be your job title.
Yeah. I like different rarities. There's Beatrice. Here we go. Beatrice now using its effect.
It's also not the best opening that...
No, Beatrice is using it. What am I talking about now? That was Boots using its effect. Don't listen to me.
It's also not the best opening that Daniele could have, is it?
Well, I think Burning Abyss ranges not so much. You either do the Dante or don't do the Dante.
All right. Okay, that was Daniele. And then it's basically back to Joshua.
Right.
The coolest player in the entire room. You can do whatever you want to him. His facial expression is not going to change.
Is this Daniele Stella?
No. Joshua Schmidt, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. He's got a very strange way of laying out his Exceed Summon monsters here in the feature match area. Awesome. Thank you very much, Rob. We just received the deck list for the 2 players. Magispector Performer Pal with some Magicians. He's playing 1 Apex Avian. And Daniele Stella is just playing... Yeah, he's playing Phantom Knight Burning Abyss.
Yeah, we knew that much.
Yeah, it was just the exact builds. Kind of, it's hard with Pendulum because it's hard to tell.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly which version.
We've seen Pendulum decks that we ended up in the other category because there were so many different archetypes in there.
Yeah.
All right, so Beatrice using her effect, getting rid of Dante.
Yeah.
Sending him to hell.
Yeah.
So he can go on his little trip.
Through the Burning Abyss.
Exactly. Down all the 7 stages. I don't remember how many it was. Actually, as part of my preparation for one of these tournaments, I'm going to read the actual Dante's Inferno. Hopefully I'm going to find the time before this deck is no longer relevant. Well, some people are going to say, well, this deck is going to be relevant for the next 2 years. All right. So who's in control right now?
In all honesty, I think it's probably Joshua, just because he has that Kieran to be able to use over and over again.
You really have to make up your mind sometimes, Luke.
Yeah,
You
I
cannot
know.
say his opening was crazy bad and then suddenly he's in control. That doesn't make sense.
I just don't think that either of the players here have opened fantastically. I feel like they're both really playing, taking their time and choosing their decisions and choosing their battles carefully. Is the best way to describe it, I guess.
Yeah, you only want to fight those fights that you can actually win.
Yeah.
Although giving up is not really an option if you want to make it to the top 16.
No.
All right.
Wow, that's a big hand for Joshua Schmidt. That's not his hand, it's a graveyard. That's why it's a big hand. I couldn't see our app. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, that's the feed, and there you go on the right-hand side. Sorry, wrong side. Here we go. Dragon Pit Magician.
Not much left.
Yeah, it used to be a big hand.
Yeah, I think I'm just going crazy, to be honest.
Yeah, and as always, you see this quiet composure of Joshua Schmidt. He just sits there, waits, tells his opponent, yeah, bring it. I'm going to get you eventually.
So there's another Dante, as expected.
All right, where do you go from here if you're Daniele?
You just got to grind through. I think he needs some kind of way to break the pendulum scales so that he can stop having to deal with Kieran every single turn. I guess at the same time, Daniele is just able to keep making Dante. If it's getting bounced back to the Aether deck, then why not?
So you're saying this could be one of those grindy games?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I feel especially if both of the players are playing kind of really carefully, then it could take some time before one of them cracks.
Well, what we can do is, of course, take a look at the player match history to see how these guys ended up here. That's always interesting, if you ask me. Joshua Schmidt started with a 2-1 victory against Exceed Monarchs, then another victory against Fenrite Burning Abyss.
Oh, that just jumped out at me.
Sorry?
That just jumped out at me, this match.
Oh, yeah. Round 3, he won also against Exceed Monarchs. Round 4, he won against Draco Slayer Performer Pulse. Perfect start into the day. Then he was 5-0 after he beat Titouan Le Paven from France in a mirror match. And then, round 6, he was undefeated, and his opponent was also undefeated. We talked about this guy earlier. Ido Marcus, last year's champion, who of course played Draco Slayer Performer Pulse.
Yeah.
That's when Joshua won.
Oh, here we go. There's the twin twisters. So Daniele there. Daniele. Is that right?
It's Daniele.
Daniele, okay. My Italian's not so good.
It's fine.
Daniele here with the twin twisters. But there's Monkey Board. Okay, carry on reading the...
There's Monkey Board. What are you saying? Nothing is happening when Monkey Board?
Back to the same game state.
What I want to point out is every single result of Joshua Schmidt is a 2-1 victory.
Wow.
I mean, unless he lost somewhere. I'm going to get to that eventually. But he did lose eventually. But he
Every game was 2-1.
Yeah, he never won 2-0. So that seems like he's gotten up against a lot of players that had really good side decks, or his own side deck could turn the tide when he lost the first game or something. A couple of options to interpret this would definitely be an interesting topic for a short interview.
Yeah.
He only lost... he lost twice? 3 times. No. Sorry, twice. He only lost twice. He went x2 into the top 64. He lost to Alexander Rauch with Demise Cosmo, and he lost to Imran Kanjadoon with Burning Abyss. So much for Joshua Schmidt. Let's take a look at our friend from Italy, Daniele. To make it sound Italian, you have to make it Daniele.
Okay.
It sounds like you're complaining while you're saying the name.
Right,
That's the mystery.
That makes sense now.
He actually lost his round 1 game against Shirin Wecker and Solkin Monarchs. Not the best start, of course. But then he recovered. Won round 2. Then he lost round 3. Okay, so much for recovery. Against Fire King Cosmo. Obviously, he had to win everything from then on. Because his tiebreaker was terrible. And he did win against Dominic Schmidt, Lucien Hauer, Jared Stone, in fact, in round 7.
Yeah.
I think he kicked him out, right? Pretty much, I guess.
Must have done, yeah. Yeah, in round 9, yeah.
Dario Sender, Fabio Dessi, that was Demise Cosmo, Exceed Monarchs again, Domain Monarchs, and then Phantom Knight Burning Abyss, mirror match basically in the top 64. And that's how he ended up here. So, 2 losses in the first 3 rounds, but here he is in the top 32 of our tournament.
So we're kind of in the same game state that we've been in for almost the full game now.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like terribly much is happening. What's the reason for that?
Just both players are kind of not committing all of their resources to the field.
That's a nice way of saying
I think next turn, yeah, that's a nice way of saying it. I think next turn, Joshua Schmidt could potentially do a really damaging turn, but Daniele,
first we have to make it
3
there.
back rows. Yeah, I mean, he's got triple fog blade now. That's just crazy. Triple fog blade. Wow. Doesn't take too much time to get that running in this deck, but still, it's. I play my Skullcrobat Joker. Oh, he actually let that through. Wow. I was expecting to see a fog blade there, but I guess he just doesn't really mind. I just don't know. I don't know how you win this matchup as Burning Abyss. I was never a massive fan of Burning Abyss. I played it when it was all about the the discard traps, but yeah, I don't understand. Okay. Oh, okay. See, look, Joshua Schmidt is really working this. He's going to be able to, Oath Dragon, get Wisdom Eye used for Dragon Pit Magician. He's probably gonna snipe all of those Fog Blades. So there's only a few trap cards that Daniele plays: the Solemn Toolkit and the Phantom Knight trap cards.
Just in case somebody asks, what card is Solemn Toolkit?
It is
you mean 3 copies of Strike?
3 copies of Strike and Solemn Warning.
Right. That is also known as the Solemn Toolkit.
Solemn Toolkit Brigade, the Solemn Brigade. I call it all sorts of weird things.
Okay.
The Solemn Brigade's my favorite one.
Okay. 1 Fog Blade down.
Yep.
2 to go. There goes the monster that was standing in the way.
Yeah, so you might be just able to get some Diddy beats in here.
Let's rotate a little bit more. This is the field for Joshua Schmidt. These are the 2 face downs that Daniele Stella has. And these are the cards in Daniele Stella's hand. Speedroid Taketomborg, Speedroid Terrotop, and the Scam.
Oh, I blinked and then his field was full. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I think Joshua Schmidt just played that so well.
So what is the key? How is it possible that the 3 Fog Blades don't do anything?
He was just slow rolling him there. He was so kind of, I'm not going to commit to the board yet. I'm just going to wait until I've got exactly what I need.
Okay.
It's your turn. You have a turn. And then Daniele was sat there thinking, oh, well, I don't want to deal with that Kirin right now. I can't really deal with it. Go on, you can have one more turn to try and craft your perfect turn.
Mm-hmm.
Josh was like, okay, thanks. I'll keep doing that.
I'm going to take you up on that offer.
Yeah.
And going to send you home.
Yeah.
That's the idea, at least. I mean, he's got one win now. He just needs a second one. And then he could advance to the round of 16. We don't have that many players that went twice to the World Championships. There are a couple of them, of course. It's not like it would be a first. People like Dario Longo come to mind. He's a former world champion, in fact. I mean, of course, everybody who wins the World Championship goes to the World Championship twice. It's also something to keep in mind, because you're going to be invited for next year to defend your title. Somebody, who was that? Like 2 years ago, came really close. I'm not sure. I know that Galileo de Obaldia from Panama was at the World Championship a couple of times, and not just because he won it. I don't think he ever won it, to be honest. Michel Gruner, several-time competitor at the...
Did he get to Worlds?
Yeah. Yeah. He did. Looked completely out of it. Like, what?
Yeah. I don't remember him going to Worlds, but I'm not saying it's not right.
It's just surprising.
I don't want to say I distinctly remember, because I don't remember them all, but I do remember a couple of the competitors that
Well, he
was there in Rimini.
He was the first European champion when Konami took over, I think.
Yeah? Back in 2009?
Yeah, either the first or the second. Because he won every title in the game except for the World Championship. He won YCS, he won a national championship, he won, and so on. But I digress. A couple of times. Oh, there's a monkey board among the opening 5.
Love it.
I heard that's a good thing.
Love it.
So our little scale of openings is immediately at a 5 or better.
Yeah, 5 or better, yeah.
Okay. See, we're getting there.
Yeah.
I'm figuring it out.
Yeah, slowly but surely.
I'm cracking the code.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Daniele Stella is, of course, going first.
That just dropped from like a 5 to a 3.
You mean Daniele's opening?
Yeah, I mean, Maxi's pretty good.
So basically, Joshua Schmidt's opening hand on the other side is just incredible.
Goes from that 5 that you promised to a 6. And that's only the amount of cards he has, not the rating.
So, yeah, because that's going to be higher.
Yeah.
But it's now a little bit of a race.
Let's have a look in Joshua Schmidt's hand.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Meanwhile.
Oh, wow. He's got some stuff. Oh, we're going to show Joshua Schmidt's hand as soon as Daniel has finished his turn.
Oh, by the way, Galileo Opaldia won 2011's Worlds with Frog FTK. 2011, is that correct? But, yeah.
Sounds about right for Frog FTK.
Anyway. So, Daniele Stella, not the best position to be in, to be honest. Although Twin Twisters can be really good.
Yeah, Twin Twister. He's going to want a Twin Twister Scam. Oh, he's allowing the monkey board. Okay, so that's okay. It just depends on.
He's greedy.
Yeah,
a bit greedier.
Yeah, a bit greedier. In all honesty, I mean, if he also has a Sky Iris, then that's bad, because he would then be able to play Sky Iris and protect his Pendulum Scales using that Sky Iris. But yeah,
so far
I just think Joshua Schmidt's got so much in his hand, like so much stuff.
Sorry, what was your rating again?
Like 7 now.
A 7?
It's pretty. He's like
only a 7.
He could do some stuff right now.
All right.
He can do some serious stuff. I think he's going to want to play the Archfiend Eccentric. Just for the sake of it. Yeah, play that, get rid of it. So I don't know whether the Twin Twisters comes out now.
What is the perfect opportunity to play it?
Probably now.
I was about to say, like. So, Joshua Schmidt. There we go. Was it better to be greedy?
I think it was. It didn't matter in this scenario.
All right.
Says the Wumbuku search. Again, I feel like he's going to be able to just recomplete the scale, and he's still saving that fog blade. I feel like Daniele is just not. Yeah. He's going to save that fog blade right up until the end again.
Right.
So there's the big Pendulum summon. Probably going to use Pendulum Sorcerer's effect here. I think Daniele is deciding as to whether he would like to fog blade that sorcerer.
Hmm.
Can you remember what material was under Dante?
I think wasn't it just 2 Burning Abyss, but which one in
Which-
particular?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of the key part.
It's always like, yeah, 2 Burning Abyss. Sometimes it's two Phantom Knights. So yeah, hard to tell. It kind of happened fast, to be honest.
Yeah.
All right. So, would you use the Fog Blade?
I think I think that getting it on that Pendulum Sorcerer would have been a pretty decent shot, but again, you know, he's won many more tournaments than I have. Oh, that's a Fafa, okay. And I just think that he could have stopped that and stopped the kind of the potential for having those pendulum scales next turn. I understand that Joshua was in a pretty good position regardless, but still.
Yeah.
So here we're going to see the Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon coming down. I think Daniele is in a really bad spot here. Like, Joshua's Extra X full, the Vortex Dragon, the Kirin, just bad.
Yeah. It's all a bit much.
He's going to read the Vortex Dragon.
So that's one of these situations where you're going to raise your eyebrow.
Yeah. There's times in a tournament where, like, I've read a card and I've gone, why am I not playing that? Like, why have I not seen that before? Oh wow, Daniele Stella had, I think it was 2 or 3 anti-spell fragrance at the bottom of his deck when he went searching there. Wow, that's rough.
How can he come back here? I mean, he does have a tour guide, but is that it? I mean,
It's gonna be like,
he needs another card, of course, but what card is the answer here?
just how it's difficult to say. I mean, he's got to deal with 1 negation plus Kirin. Remember we had our chat yesterday about the number of interruptions?
Yeah.
He's got 2 interruptions here. 2 interruptions is really tough, especially when Kirin...
That's it. Yeah, nothing he can do. He realized it himself.
He himself just then, he was pointing the fog blade at the Pendulum Sorcerer saying, yeah, I probably should have done that.
Yeah. But how much of a difference would it have made?
I don't think a huge difference, but you know, I think he did go and he went and searched the material for Odd Eyes Fusion from that, so he wouldn't have been able to Vortex Dragon. I think he, well, not necessarily as optimally anyway. Let's put it like that.
But interestingly enough, I think most of the last few feature matches we had seen for Joshua Schmidt, they have always been extremely competitive. Like, it was going back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah.
This seemed to be as one-sided as it gets.
Yeah, that was a really good feature match, though. Joshua played that really well. Joshua played that really, really well.
Yeah.
I think he just sat and waited until he had the best hand that he needed.
Especially in the first game, you pointed it out there. Second game didn't seem like there was so much room for error, I guess. Or would you disagree?
No, I think, yeah, Joshua just kind of had really, really busted hand. And Maxi to stop his opponent from
that is
doing
also true,
anything, really.
That made a lot of a difference. Is there anything that we didn't see in those decks, maybe in the side decks, that could have made a difference that is worth mentioning, especially from Daniele's side, because we're not going to see him again?
So one interesting thing, not for this matchup, but he was playing Mirror of the Ice Barrier.
Okay, that's a unique choice.
That's not been around since Necros. He was playing the full 3 Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries, so it's one of those things. If he'd have had that, he'd have just outright.
Yeah.
Outright. Oh no, sorry. What am I talking about? Daniele was the one playing.
Daniele was playing Burning Abyss.
BA. Also, that's
for the
how
mirror
much
match.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's really that confused me.
He doesn't really have anything for the mirror, does he?
No, I guess.
I mean, Muscles Restrict, of course not. Raigeki,
No.
Dark Hole, doesn't really matter.
So he doesn't. Yeah, he just doesn't. Apart from the anti-spell fragrance,
Just expects this matchup to be in his favor.
Yeah, and the thing is, I do think Daniele got really unlucky here because he main decked 3 Twin Twisters. That's. Yeah, we saw it happen a few times, but that's unfortunate that he didn't see more of those.
Is it one of those decks that is more likely to do well once it's in the top 64, or is it one of those decks that gets you into the top 64 with a decision like the 3 Twin Twisters?
I think that's more of a Swiss deck.
Yeah?
Yeah, because you're kind of covering all the bases with Twin Twisters.
And then your chances might actually diminish once you made it to the top out.
I mean,
top cut.
We can see here in Joshua's deck, he's not playing any trap cards. He is obviously playing Pendulums, so that Twin Twisters is good against that. But maybe that made the difference.
Maybe it did. Well, you guys, of course, absolutely entitled to your own opinion. You can let us know. Some of you said, as you saw the opening 5 of Joshua, this game is over. Burning Abyss is out. You were right. 50% chance you were right. So well done to you. We're going to take a very short break, and then we're going to be back with Joshua, in fact, who's going to run us through his thinking, why he went with this deck list, whether it's a deck that does well in Swiss, or if it's one of these decks that gets him finally the title of European champion so he can go to Worlds again.